Okay, I believe we're recording now. Again, welcome. We'll jump right into it. First, I wanted to go over 6, 8, 10 things real quick, just over a couple of minutes before we kind of get to our K-3 information. Again, it's just general district information that you could have. Some of you probably already know, but you could pass along to others. Meals. Our meals plan changes next week, expands a little bit. Let me pull up, besides the high school, which starting on Monday, it continues to operate 11 to 12:30. Remember, all the meals are free, breakfast and lunch. Next week, they'll start having hot options that you could choose from that they'll be preparing there in the kitchen. Cheeseburgers, chicken sandwiches, that kind of stuff. In addition to that, next week we'll expand to 4 different locations around town. One, we'll have a bus at the No Time Market, bus at the DS Mart and Farm Store parking lot, bus at the Fernridge Child Development Center on Jeans Road, and a bus at 5th and Wood Street in Veneta. Those buses will be there for a half hour, 12 to 12:30. Anyone can come, again, 0 to 18, free. Just the parent can come and say, I have 4 kids at home, and get their meals and go. Monday through Friday, high school site, 11 to 12:30. Those 4 sites, 12 to 11. I'll also go ahead and say, I've had someone mention in the chat that my sound is not good. Is everybody having that issue? Okay, I don't know if I did something. I don't know if that'll help you, but it looks like most people it's good. Okay, so that's on meals. Metrics. County metrics are not good. It's going to force us to possibly change. All of our staff, especially at the lowest grade levels, really want to see kids as much as possible, but eventually this is going to alter things. Last week was the first time we were above 30, or 2 weeks ago, and then last week we jumped to above 60, and they continue to not be good. We'll just keep our eye on it. Tech support.
We'll bring you a chair too.
Oh, I don't know how I got muted there for a second, or where I got muted, but tech support will continue at the district office every day from 1 to 3 o'clock here if you need Chromebook support. Our elementary principals wanted me to specifically pass along that the kids that are in school are doing a great job with masks, social distancing, hand washing, all that stuff. There haven't been any problems. Kids have adapted really well and it's going fine. Wanted to thank those that are transporting students. Just a reminder to everybody to mute if you can. Michelle, can you mute people that are unmuted? Okay. Thank those that are transporting. It's really helping our limited in-person instruction continue because we have to be under the size of 10, a number of 10 students on every given bus. Another reminder, just if your kid is sick, even though you're 90% sure it's not COVID related, keep your kid home when they're sick. It helps us out in the school because there's lots of things we have to do when a kid is, sneezing and coughing and that kind of thing at school. And then a final reminder, just to call the school when you have questions. You're not a Lone Ranger if you got questions. And frankly, we might not have the answers, but we'll get them. So continue to call the school, probably is the best bet. Second best bet would be to email either the classroom teacher or the principal. All right, our K-3, where we're at. First, let's describe what we're doing right now. We're having our kids in every other day for 2 hours. Kindergarten through 3rd grade in the morning. As far as what, there's 16 or 17 school districts in Lane County. There's only 2 school districts that are getting K-3 kids in for regular instruction, and that's Pleasant Hill and Lowell. And the reason they were able to is because they started Monday instead of Tuesday, the week that we started. No other district, and we're probably the 3rd as far as getting our youngest kids in on site the most often. That's us. The vast majority, especially the larger districts, there are very few, if any, kids coming on site. So that's what we're doing right now. Our plan going forward. So we had talked about different options, and I would, you know, I want to make sure I validate parents in that a lot of these options are not good, and I understand that. Principals understand that. Certainly classroom teachers, our aides, we understand that. We're trying to make the best we can out of a lot of options, of which none are frankly the best, especially for our youngest students that need to be learning how to read. And that undoubtedly, you know, as I was talking to some elementary principals today, in 2, 3, 4 years, it's going to start to show up for some kids. So some things we had talked about last week about considering would be, one was going to AMPM. And we've, well, I certainly want to take input in the chat box today, and no final decisions have been made. I want to tell you the way we're leaning and why. We considered AMPM and decided against that. The main reasons why were, number one, we need to move towards comprehensive distance learning. It's a requirement of the state, and going to an AMPM, it would really eliminate that chance, eliminate that opportunity. A teacher would be engaged in the morning with their A-day kids, in the afternoon with their B-day kids. There could be no synchronous online digital instruction throughout the day. It creates a lot of parent and daycare issues, you know, for especially the ones that had to go to the afternoon, and that was a major problem. And it's not, like I mentioned, it's not CDL, comprehensive distance learning, like our 4th through 12th graders are doing. We're right now in what the state allows us to be in a transition period. They shut us down on a Monday night before we were to start Tuesday morning. Well, now we need to get geared up. So they're letting us do this limited in-person instruction, but we can't continue this forever. Let's say the metrics just stayed right where they're at, and we just stayed with 2 hours a day, and that was it. That is not satisfactory. We got to get our teachers and kids engaged more academically throughout the day, not only because it's good, but it's in compliance with what we're needing to do. The other thing that not getting ready for CDL does, it doesn't prepare us for a closure. So if, whatever, the county metrics go crazy in 2 weeks, and we do have to close, we can't allow staff on campus or students on campus. We need to have a way for these kindergarten through 3rd grade students to receive instruction from home. Right now, they don't have Chromebooks. We don't have those teachers, while they're working on their Google Classrooms to get set up and with students, just like 4th through 12th graders do, they don't have that set up yet. So right now, our AMPM model is off the table. The second thing we considered or are considering is just staying with what we're doing for, let's say, 3 months. Well, again, that's not the best plan, primarily because we need to get ready for a closure. If that happens, we need to be synchronously teaching our kids more, in particular, more than the 2 hours a day with the applied learning in the afternoon. And that's just not enough instruction if what a 1st grader is getting, for example, is 4 hours a week, 2 hours on Tuesday, 2 hours on Thursday. You know, in a typical school day, last year, 1st graders engaged in instruction or activities 5+ hours a day. And now we're getting 4 hours a week. It's just not sustainable. Then we looked at going to full CDL. So, okay, we're stopping all limited in-person instruction, and we're going to get everybody Chromebooks, and we're going to go CDL just like we are 4th through 12th grade. Well, again, we know that's not the best. We want our kids at least some experience of getting used to coming to school. We know it helps our parents and families. We know it's good for the kids. So going completely CDL for everybody right now is not something we want to do. So where we fell is, for sure, at least the next couple of weeks, we're staying just as we're doing. We're working towards moving to a model where we can add afternoon comprehensive distance learning. And we're going to start that with 2nd and 3rd grade. So here's what that looks like. Tomorrow morning, I have a meeting with several folks to get planned our Chromebook checkout plan. And next week, 2nd and 3rd graders, when they come on campus, they're going to get a Chromebook assigned to them. Every one of them. Every one of the 2nd, 3rd graders. The only ones that won't will be ones that, for some reason, already got one checked out to them. So initially we weren't supposed to check out Chromebooks as any K through third graders, but a few of them already did. If you did already get your third grader, for example, a Chromebook at the checkout from the school, then have them bring it on Tuesday. Everyone else will get one. So all students, second and third grade, are going to get a Chromebook next week. They're not going to take it home. They're just going to practice in class. Tuesday, teacher's going to engage with them. They're going to practice logging on. They're going to practice using it. They're going to send home their username and password, so you have it at home. You can take a picture on your cell phone. They'll send home a user agreement. Parent and kid need to sign, send back on their second day in the week. And then either Thursday, at the end of the day, they'll take it home, or the next Tuesday, they'll take it home. And so next week will be train up on Chromebooks, get kids in second and third grade only. Again, kinder and first just continuing as they are. Teach them how to use them in some fashion. Then the following week, we'll start small. There'll be a time. Could be different for different grade levels. For example, that would be like Tuesday the 13th, I guess. Is that the right date? Let me look at my calendar here real quick. Yeah, it'd be like Tuesday the 13th. Maybe that afternoon at 1 o'clock, all the second graders will have a synchronous instruction with their teacher. It might be on a specific topic. It might be social studies or health. We'll probably start small. It'll be 30 minutes. We'll see how many kids we're getting. The whole session will be recorded, and the link will be placed for a kid that's in daycare and can't do that synchronously in the afternoon. It'll be something at nighttime the parent can engage with them if they choose, but they'll have an opportunity in the afternoon, starting the week of the 13th, our second and third graders, to have an afternoon synchronous. And what I mean by synchronous, it's not my term, it's a state term, is this is synchronous, okay? We're live talking to each other. So when we're talking synchronous instruction, that's what we mean. So next week, practice Chromebooks in class with second, third graders. Following week, get them to take them home, start small scale. Probably the week after that, might expand to maybe 2 sessions in the afternoon, or one at 11:30 after they're home from the morning and had a little break, and then one at 1:30. Then it's kind of dependent on when we get more Chromebooks in. One other thing I'd mention, if you get your Chromebook home, I have a second grader, and we're 2 weeks down the road, and they brought their Chromebook home, and they log on to their afternoon meeting, and that's working fine. If I have a device at home that works just as well, it has a camera, it has a mic, uncheck out that Chromebook. Use your device from home and get it back to us, because we can certainly use them. We have 1,000 more Chromebooks on order, and I just confirmed today they could arrive any time between mid-October and mid-November. So we're going to be really tight in getting Chromebooks out to kinders and first graders on the numbers we have. So the more we can get back, we're checking one out to every second and third grader to begin with, but again, the more we can get back to increase our pool for K1, the better. Once the second and third graders get their Chromebooks, they practiced on them, they now have them at home, they've had synchronous instruction, then as soon as we have enough for our K1, maybe we'll start with first graders and we'll issue them Chromebooks. We'll train them up. We're not just going to send them home with them the first day. We're going to practice at school. We're probably, we just had a conversation today about getting some parent professional development videos on our website. So there'll be a page parents can go to, and I don't know how to do this, Zoom. We'll put up a 15-minute with some teachers walking through some videos, or even do some live things like this, some trainings in the coming weeks. We're going to start to create a whole kind of parent training / professional development webpage on a wide range of topics. Look for a survey to come out in the next couple of days where you can tell us, what do you need trained on? This is the most difficult thing for me. You know, most of them will probably be technology related. And right now it might not be around K through 3, but as the weeks progress, if there's some topic as we move to CDL that you feel like, hey, I just don't know how to do this, that is something that we have in the works to plan for. So look for a survey that will take input from parents on that topic. So that's where right now, where we fell is where we want to go. No final decisions have been made, but they're going to be made by tomorrow based on our conversation tonight and any feedback we get. Also, we have, again, I mentioned a meeting tomorrow to coordinate our Chromebook kind of rollout next week. Once we're finalized on what we're doing tomorrow, expect a post on the elementary web pages, both Benita and Elmira. It'll be the same post, kind of outlining what we talked about today, clearly describing what's going to happen for second and third graders over the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then clearly describing where we'll be hopefully moving with kindergartners and first graders. Where will we be in a month? Let's say we get our Chromebooks in mid-October and things are going well, and we get them out to kinder and first graders, and they're trained and they can log in the afternoon or watch videos later at night of what happened in the afternoon. We still really want to try to get kids in for 2 hours a day. The question will be, can we continue what we're doing, 2 hours every other day, or do we need to reduce? The 2 ways we would probably reduce would be to only offer limited in-person instruction for kids that don't have internet, or some of our higher needs students. The second way we might do is, no, we still want to bring everybody on, but we're going to go to 1 day a week instead of 2. So let's say we went to the 1 day a week of 2 hours on campus. On Tuesday, the Tuesday-Thursday group would probably get split up. I'd become either a Tuesday kid or a Thursday kid. I'd attend limited in-person instruction for 2 hours on Tuesday in the morning. Then the rest of the week, every day I'd have classes virtually, 11:30, 1, 2:30, for example. And then next Tuesday I'd come back, they get some follow-up, some extended activities, some remediation, some help on the work from the previous week, and then it would continue. The reason we might need to go to that is simply of our numbers. We're almost at our capacity with our buses, the way we're running now, the fact that we have that 10-person limit. We're also getting close in some of our grade levels because limited in-person instruction, the two most major restrictions on us are 10 people on the bus and no more than 10 people in a room. So as we continue down a month from now, hopefully getting to the CDL model, it'd be great if we could continue with limited in-person instruction like we are right now. But we definitely need to get afternoon CDL started so that if we do have to close, then we could have CDL with a beginning, 8 o'clock in the morning meeting, and then a 10, a 1, and a 3 or whatever, just like 4th through 12th graders are currently doing. So I know that was a ton of information. And frankly, I find when things are confusing to me, and I've been living in this world for the last 6.5 months, I'm sure a lot of the words and language I'm using are not easily followed and are difficult. But that's where we're at. So again, I know that was a lot of information, but I am certainly open to questions. You could please write in the chat. That's all I had to go through. I guess I told them I wouldn't go to them, but off of the agenda we wrote, Lisa and Michelle, anything critical you think I left out?
I think you did a great job, Mr. Carpenter.
Yeah.
And so Lisa thinks that too.
Okay. All right, first question. Decreased students in the school will be because we are over the 10 per bus room. I strongly believe we need to keep them in school at least 4 hours. So the first part of your question, I would say 2 things. Yes, right now, so today, let's say the metrics stayed where they're at or a little bit lower. That would be the only reason we would say we're getting rid of limited in-person instruction or we're reducing it, is because I can't maintain 10 on a bus or I can't maintain 10 in the classroom. The other thing that could occur where I'm saying we need to limit our bringing kids on campus, if the metrics went from 30 to 60 to 248, then I need, whether it's our employees, let's say I get 6 employees that get sick, I got a problem. So I guess that would be the second piece, would be some kind of outbreak or county metrics that are so off the chart. I've been informed by Lane County Public Health, they will not tell us what to do. And I've had some heated conversations along with other superintendents with Lane County Public Health on, they're doing a great job. They got an impossible job. I understand that, but it's a mixed message, right? Right now they're saying, hey, red, caution, warning, cases are up. Don't get in groups. Don't do all this stuff, but it's okay. Bring kids on campus. So that is in conflict. Those 2 things to me are in conflict. What they've been strong telling us is they're not going to recommend we close schools. The governor could, Oregon Department of Education could. Our public health department will not. So knowing that, they will advise us. The only way even if we had an outbreak in our school, let's say we had a staff member and 3 kids that tested COVID positive, they may advise us that they would recommend us to close, but they will not require it. So they're just putting it on, local superintendents to make that decision. So again, I guess to follow up on that question, the only other thing that could get us there, and I agree with you, when you say, Allison, I strongly believe we need to keep them in school at least 4 hours a week. Both the principals, the teachers, the aides agree with that statement. If we can, we will. If we can't, we're gonna have to adjust. Okay. As I mentioned, this is recorded. We will get it up on the website tomorrow. The elementary principals will have a post kind of solidifying this plan. Shelby, just giving some thanks. Thank you, I appreciate it. The post will go up tomorrow. 2nd and 3rd grade parents, again, don't freak out. Your kid's not coming home with a Chromebook next week, but they are gonna start practicing with it. If your kid checked one out, bring it in. Be ready to get returned your user agreement that basically says, I'm not going to throw it in the toilet, and you're going to monitor the student on it. They do have filters. There is things, they don't have a free range of anything that's on the internet. They are still a school device. Okay. You have a ballpark time frame of how long our K-1 will be able to continue limited? So potentially all year long. For some kids, first of all, for some kids, it will continue all year long unless the metrics just got so bad that we were forced to stop for a while. Whether or not we can continue with every kid twice a week, which is really pushing the boundaries of what ODE is allowing, but I have gotten the okay from Colt Gill himself to do it this way, so we can get in for 4 hours a day. So my hope is it continues forever. Well, actually my hope is the metrics get back to under 30 for 3 weeks, because remember, what allows us to bring those kinder through 3rd graders on for 6-7 hours a day, a normal school day, 8 to 2, 2:15, whatever, is 3 weeks between 10 and 30. And we had been there all, late July, August, early September, and then we went 30 and 60 something. So my biggest hope is we can get out of limited in-person instruction and get our K-3 kids on site. That's what we're looking for, 3 weeks in that 10 to 30 range. We can bring all kids back through 12th grade when we have 3 weeks under 10. Hopefully we get there soon. Just wanted to let you know that things have transitioned smoothly with CDL for our older 3 kiddos. It's been easy for me as a mother to manage their schooling, and the teachers seem to really be able to engage the students masterfully. Well, I appreciate that very much, and I know that there's some teachers on here that would as well. In a perfect world, teachers would have had 6 months to try this stuff out, see all the tools, all the apps, all the resources, all the technology, practice, learn them. That just isn't the case. So it's created a situation where parents have questions, want to know why we're not communicating this with them already, and it's because we haven't learned it yet. We're learning, typically our teachers learn something within hours later, you learn it. And a lot of those are coming from questions you have. So continue to ask them because it helps us problem solve and address issues. A big one recently was around the printing. Won't be as required as much for our CDL kids, but in our options program, that was a big deal. Every day there's some issues coming up that we're solving, and it'd be nice if I had this list of 30 issues and I was totally whittling it down every day to just a couple, but what it is we take 3 off and we add 4. But we are making progress, and I know the hard work of everybody in the buildings. We certainly were a lot better this week than we were last week, and we're certainly going to be a lot better next week than we were this week. I got sent a link today. I was able to watch one of our middle school teachers, Heather Honstein, teach her middle school class, and it was excellent, some of the stuff that she was doing. And as teachers get more comfortable, get more trained, they're learning along with you, it's only going to get better. I realize that that doesn't help the pain that's happening right now. Just know we're with you, and we're continuing to work as hard as we can. My second grade daughter is on bus 10, B-Day VS. I was told she was the only one on that bus. Is it helpful to just drive her so the bus can do a different route? It's a great question, Crystal. I don't think we have any buses with one, so maybe, but certainly it could have been on a given day. I would, yes, that could be a big help. I would call Amy at the bus barn, 935-1969, and mention that to her, or to shoot her an email. Or maybe Lisa and or Michelle, if you know who this parent is, you could send that information to Amy, and if there's a possibility of consolidating a route, that would be great.
Lisa says she'll reach out tomorrow.
Okay, so no need to do that, parent. Miss Latham will do that. So appreciative of the effort, thank you. I have a kinder and a second grader. As far as CDL goes further down the road, would one Chromebook be doable for the use between them? Possibly, it could be. So stay tuned to that. That's maybe something we'll do at the elementary level for the multiple households that just have elementary kids, is organize our schedule. So Lisa could develop a schedule of Anita, for example, or Michelle at Elmira, that has grade levels at different times. Kindergarten is at 8, first grade's at 8:30. They're 30-minute segments. So depending on the house, depending on the timing, that could be possible. To start with, we want to get everybody one, at least starting with second and third, even if you have a second and a third grader. But as we figure out timing, that could be something that they try to coordinate at a building to make it easier. Did I miss any questions, Miss Latham or Marshall?
Nope, looks great.
Okay.
I think they're being easy on you, Mr. Carpenter.
They are,
I've heard of a lot more questions out there.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking it easy on me. Mr. Michael Reese, in terms of time and work, are overall expectations the same nationally when it comes to standardized testing? In this environment, certainly no. So around standardized testing, that's a little bit of a different question and kind of a little bit more complicated. Probably I would suggest emailing your elementary principal. I'll give you the 30-second version. A lot of states use the Smarter Balance, not Smarter Balance. They use national standards, of which we're a part of, but not every state. But in this COVID environment, it is definitely state specific. There's a lot, like Oregon has a pact with some Western states, the governor of Oregon and several other governors on the West Coast, so that we're similar, especially into metrics and that kind of stuff. But the work, there's schools in Georgia, for example, everybody's on campus every day, masks required, not required. The difference nationally is tremendous. So, there's certainly states more restrictive than us. There's certainly states more, liberal, letting folks on liberally throughout the nation. Definitely no similarities there. And Michelle added, around state testing, Smarter Balance testing right now, we're still expected to give them. How that happens in a virtual environment, I have no idea. But those typically don't start till the spring. So things could change significantly by then. If they don't, then I assume we'll get some directive on what that looks like. Do we need to bring kids on to take the tests? Are they doing them from their home? More information to come, but right now, yes, Smarter Balance testing is still scheduled to occur for 3rd through 8th graders, plus 11th graders, like it normally would in a given year. Last year, Smarter Balance testing was halted and stopped when we closed in mid-March. Okay, it looks like the questions are wrapping up. If I didn't get something or you didn't want to type something in, feel free to email either the principals or myself. Again, I really appreciate folks taking the time to come on here tonight. Please share this information. And again, a clearer post, much clearer than I rattled on here for the last, excuse me, 30 minutes. Will be on the elementary websites tomorrow describing what we talked about today once we kind of finalize what we're hearing. I don't hear any, I'm sure not everybody heard this and is super excited and doing cartwheels, but I didn't hear anything that has me scared that we're, the path that we're on is probably the best one considering the circumstances. So the K-3 students going to receiving paper packets, and Ms. Marshall said, yeah, probably a combination. I imagine there will be some activities when they come in during their 2 hours or 4 hours, depending on what we're doing, of limited in-person, that they do have some materials that they're taking home. But it certainly won't be, it'll be in conjunction with what's happening in the classroom. It'll be them getting instruction and then applying it to this work at home. So that could occur on some level, probably more likely in specific subjects than others. But there will be some, I'm sure, paper pencil stuff going home that we'll want the kid to bring back next time they come on campus for limited in-person instruction. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up there. One more question looks like. Will 4th to 12 go to school in full-time once the numbers are below the 10% or part-time to start? That's a great question. So once we're under 10 for 3 weeks, we can come, you correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa or Michelle, the 10 to 30 range is an exception for K-3. Once we're under 10, we can go back to normal. 10 per 100,000, we can bring kids on. And then the way I think it would work is if we got out of 10, it'd be a case-by-case, community-by-community basis. So if we could just get 3 weeks of under 10, a period to get started, I think it totally changes the scenario. And then, for example, the metrics might not matter as much. But yes, grades 4 through 12, 3 weeks, under 10 per 100,000, we can come back on site, just like a normal school year. All right, I'm gonna end it there. Again, thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it. We will get through this. What are we in? October. 3 more months and we can say goodbye to 2020. We'll have a party. Thanks again.